Hey, how's it going? Welcome back to Left Right Out. Think that I might be hearing the fan a little bit. Anyway, today there's a lot of things going on in the world, but we're gonna just talk about. I think I started doing a couple of episodes about being a dude, being a man, and the lack of manliness in society or whatnot. So we're gonna talk about another kind of along that parallel. I've heard some guys talk about it. It's the 80-20 rule with women. I think there's been a few. I don't know if there's scientific. Maybe there's a couple scientific studies. But the ones that I'm first came. Well, we all kind of inherently kind of knew this, that there's a certain percentage of guys that get most chicks, and certain people that produce the most in a company. There's certain area of the lake that holds the most fish. I mean, there's like, it's usually the 80-20 or 90-10, roughly rule. Well, there's been a couple of surveys, I think OkCupid, Match.com, and a few others that kind of damn cars. Anyway, they've done a couple of, each of them done their own survey in various forms, and what they've found in general is the guys are willing to, they have a more broader spectrum of what's acceptable, what they will actually go date, and you can have your own theories on that. But the women, with their samples, there was 80% of them only viewed 20% of the men as dateable, as acceptable, or even attractive. And here's my theory on that. So after, by the way, this isn't a beer, it's a Mexican Coke. If anybody's got any questions about that, I'm not drinking on here. Besides una fresca from Eco y Mexico. But my theory, and I haven't heard anybody really express this on the internet, is this 80-20 rule is nothing new. It's a function of the media, which everybody's talked about that, the invention of social media and the availability of people. But here's what the thing is. So when I'm in my mid-30s, anybody in their mid-30s or later than that, or even in their early 30s, when you were in high school or in school in general, and the internet was just popping, we didn't have any of this Facebook, MySpace hasn't even been out there yet, and you were in these towns or in your schools, it's called the 80-20. It was called that 100% your pie of available people to date, your group, your pool of dateable people. With 100% that pie it was within your school district, or even down to your school, or depending on what size of community you were. For me, it was like my school. So within that school, or within whatever group that is, which is pretty finite comparative to what we have right now, you might be that top 20%. I mean, it was just a smaller group of people. So women had a more realistic view of who they could get, you know what I mean? So, I don't know if that's clicking, but what I'm saying is that pie was smaller. Nowadays, there's a lot of other various elements to why women use social media and dating sites, but I believe, here's my theory on it, the reason that so many guys are having problems is that pie now is larger for any particular woman, no matter if they come from a rural community, no matter what size of metropolitan area, even in high school or whatever. Granted, you have a physical contact, but they can go out, and in fact, more people are involved in their phones, so they go out, and that pool, that perception of what they can get is larger. So now you're competing. If you're an average guy in the average town, you might be in the top 20% in that town, but if you take that out to the state level or wherever, her app or her perception of that market, the dating market, is, now you might have fallen out of that 20%. That's why it seems so hard, because now it's easy. I mean, it's so easy. I mean, you can 100-mile radius now, and when you get on those things, people are a lot more thirsty, especially dudes. There's a lot of thirsty dudes, so it gives it just a weird dynamic. So that's my theory. I mean, you can look into it a little bit more. I mean, I haven't really gone into depth, but I'm kind of developing that. And it makes sense. I think I've seen it a lot, and it kind of parlays with the whole antisocial mentality and the utilization of these dating apps and just social media in general. Especially on the women's side, I don't know. From the man side, in my age bracket, I don't really have as much that experience as maybe somebody younger. But for me, I've utilized dating apps, and I I'll tell you this. So if the younger generation utilizes them a higher percentage than mine, and now I'm finding it that, like, especially with young girls, there is an untapped resource for guys my age, or even younger, if they're willing to just do face to face. If you can learn how to strike that conversation and go there, because girls aren't getting talked to that like that anymore, and it provides us it's not good societally, but if you're the right guy, if you know how if you see this inequality here, you can capitalize on it. I guess that's where I'm getting at. Overall, this is horrific for society in general, but if you're a guy trying to clean house, now's your time to find that angle, to learn how to talk to people, and to actually strike that conversation up. And if you're a decent looking guy, I mean, if you're not, I don't know, because you might get the old sexual harassment thing. But I'm saying there is that thing that you can do that nobody else is doing, and you can clean house. Anyway, peace out.